OK, let's get into our first topic then, shall we? And do we need a general election? Get your calls in for this one now. Allies of the Prime Minister are telling Labour plotters a general election could be on the cards if they get rid of Starmer. The warning comes after rumours of a leadership challenge from Labour MPs, many of whom would lose their seats if a vote was held. Labour's ratings have plummeted since Keir Starmer delivered a landslide victory in July last year. In a YouGov poll, 73% think that he is doing badly as PM. Nigel Farage says that the sooner he steps aside, the better for the country. We're asking, do you agree with that? Who would you like to see in charge? Lizzie, surely another general election would be a terrible idea. We've had enough chaos. We don't need any more chopping and changing.
I'm afraid, Storm, we have to have it. We need it.
Why?
Because he's the worst Prime Minister in history ever. Have you seen the polls? He has the lowest polling rate, 13%, 13%. I mean, Reform are going from strength to strength. They're at 34%. Labour are down, I think, today at 17%.
So you want Nigel Farage in charge?
Well, yes, I do, because I think we need him. Reform are the rescue party, and they're going to come and save this country.
What does Nigel Farage have that Keir Starmer doesn't?
Well, Keir Starmer, number one, is not even liked in his own party. There's a civil war that he has got on his hands. And instead of sorting out the real problems that his own party, with their inept policies, have created, I mean, 1,000 jobs a day are being lost under this government. He's employed a chancellor that, you know, should be still at the Halifax on the complaints department. I'm sorry, she's not up for the job. She surely, you know, should have gone a long time ago. Her first budget was a disaster. This one is going to hurt us even more. They said they wouldn't tax the working people. That's all they've ever done. They've lied to the farmers, they've lied to the pensioners, and what they've done to, you know, small businesses. I mean, look at the pubs. They're closing 1 in 8.
But even Reform have U-turned on their manifesto pledge of a £90 million tax cut, 90 billion, I can't remember, it's a very large number that seemed silly at the time, and they've U-turned on that now and said they won't be able to do that.
Well, I mean, they're just keeping up with what's going on in our country today. They're a new party, and look how far they've come. They are you know, they are coming to save this country, and we need them drastically. I mean, look at what's just happened on our prison system. I mean, 91 have accidentally been freed in the last 7 months. That's appalling.
I mean, there's been bad press for the government recently in the papers. What do you think, Radzi?
A few things on what Lizzie said there. So the prison thing, I think that's a legacy from the Conservative Party, but kind of maybe a conversation for another day. In terms of Labour themselves and a general election, in the last 10 years, 4 general elections, 6 British Prime Ministers, 8 Chancellors of the Exchequer. What does that do for stability? What does it do for long-term planning? And how can we have these broad, massive ideas when we keep chopping and changing? What does that do for international relationships? If we have another one, my personal fear, and this is where Lizzie and I will clash, is that having Farage in charge for me will be the genuine end of this country, in certainly the way that we see it. Maybe that's what people want. But
why do you say it will be the end? And what way? Because all he wants, you know, this is bedlam, this is chaos. They can't even, you know, there's chaos in his own party they're fighting. Haven't they learned anything from the last government, what that did? The in-house fighting that did to the Conservatives? That's why they didn't get in.
What's your favourite policy from Reform?
Well, certainly for the immigration leaving the ECHR. I think we need to do something drastic. You know, I mean, we've had, I think just this year, illegals, 38,000 coming over in small boats. We've given 700 million to the French, who haven't even got their feet wet.
OK, but the Reform's policy on the small boats issue is anyone here will be detained and then deported. It's quite challenging to deport someone back to a country you don't know where they came from.
Well,
and what, are you going to send them back to France? They'll just come back. It'll be a yo-yo situation.
I'm afraid we're not doing this one in, one out, which is an absolute merry-go-round in the Channel. What a joke that is. They're going over and then another one's coming back on the boat. Look, they're serious. They're going to get tough. We've been a soft touch. They're going to stop all that. It's costing us 8.5 million in the hotels.
You're not answering the question, and neither is Nigel Farage. Where are you deporting them to?
Well, back to where they're
Well,
from.
how do you know where they're from?
Well, they will find out. They will find a way, and they've come. You know, we can't just. We're only a small island. We're bursting at the seams, and people are really scared and worried about it. You know, we're seeing protests all the time.
But people are scared and worried, I think, because of the amount of attention and the amount of oxygen that mainstream media is giving it. 40,000 people on boats coming in illegally. Fine.
And we don't know where they are
That's
from,
fine.
undocumented.
Absolutely.
Being put in our communities.
Is that the reason why we have 5 million on the NHS waiting list? Is that the reason why we have issues in our schools, issues in every single utility going? The fundamental problems of our society is not to do with immigrants. And the reason I believe that Farage is going after them isn't because he's a racist, it's because they're a silent victim. You can bash them and you will not get a response, and you can blame everything on them.
It's not at all that, because it's affecting every way in every aspect of our life. The infrastructure, not being able to get a doctor's appointment. I mean,
40,000.
And money being wasted in the NHS. Nigel is talking about reforming
Lizzie,
it.
There's people struggling to get a doctor's appointment in Elgin. There's not a huge amount of people in small boats up there.
But can you not understand? They're getting treated. We feel like we're treated like second-class citizens. They're getting doctor's appointment. They're getting free dental appointments. That's the truth of it.
OK, let's go to the calls. Angela from Derbyshire, what's your view on this? Do you think we need a general election? And if we do, who do you want to see in number 10?
I definitely do not think we need one now. I think it's ridiculous to even be thinking about it. I think we need to just allow them to get on with their jobs and stop trying to cause more problems for them. Listening then about leaving the ECHR, I find it just really baffling at why we are wanting to, I suppose, why people want to leave something that gives us our rights for the sake of people that are deserving of every right that possibly can have the human beings. And it's a place where we can take our government to court for our rights as human beings from this country. We're allowing people, say Nigel Farage, he wants to leave, so we're allowing the politician, a government, say official at that time, to take away our rights. That baffles me. I don't understand it, sorry.
OK, no, not at all. No need to apologise. It's your opinion, and that's what this whole show is about. OK, so I'm hearing that you don't want Nigel Farage in number 10. I'm hearing that you don't want a general election. Are you happy with Keir Starmer and his performance, or would you like to see a new leader of the Labour Party, or perhaps a new Chancellor? Does there need to be change?
Possibly. Do you know what? I don't even know. I think Keir Starmer is doing the best he possibly can. I think although all these things happening and he's at the top, I suppose he would be seen as the one to blame. However, I think it's an overall system where these things are going to be happening all over the place, and they're just coming to the head because people are trying to pull him down. And no matter what, it doesn't matter what happened, people are going to be coming out of the woodwork, aren't they, saying, oh, this is happening and that's happening.
I mean, Angela, I think
Keir's fault.
The surprising thing for people is the people coming out of the woodwork seem to be from his own party. But I take your point, maybe chopping and changing could be a bit chaotic, maybe not the best for the economy either. Angela, thank you for your call. Mike from Derby, how do you feel about a general election?
OK. What good is it going to do? The problem we've got is we've got a party in power at the moment with a Prime Minister who conned and lied his way through to getting in power, because everything they said in the manifesto has not happened. In fact, he's reversed it all. And it's just, unfortunately, we're in a damn state, this country. We've got nobody around who's good enough, who stands out enough to me to be Prime Minister of the country.
Mike,
we're in a bit of a state.
Is it fair to say that they have U-turned on everything? Because actually, Rachel Reeves hasn't made her announcement yet. We do think that she's going to increase taxes, but that hasn't happened yet. Another thing that they think might happen is for the two-child benefit cap to be lifted. Now, there's something that Keir Starmer was really honest at the beginning about and said, I can't do now, but if I can possibly in the future, I will. And he may be following through on that quite nicely.
I'll have a little bet with you. I bet he turns back on everything.
OK, all right. No faith in Keir Starmer. Is there anyone else in the
None
Labour Party you would like to
see?
see?
He's got no spine, he's got no backbone. He's not a leader of the country. But unfortunately, like I say, there's nobody who stands out to me at the moment, a politician who I can put my finger at and say, he'd be a good leader of the country.
Could I chuck one out there,
Yeah, go
Mike?
on, Radzi.
Zach Polanski for you, Mike. What are your thoughts on him?
Green Party leader.
Zach Polanski, the leader of the Green Party.
I'm really undecided. I've got to be honest with you. I'm pretty undecided about it.
And I think, Mike, you make a great point. He's not a leader. That's the whole point. Keir Starmer isn't a leader. He may have been a great, lawyer, but he hasn't got the leading qualities. And also, he has backtracked on everything, and he's lied. He lied getting into government with his manifesto because he has backtracked and U-turned on everything.
Radzi, what is it about Zach Polanski that you like?
I like that he's courageous. I like that he's bold. I like that he's somebody who says things that you wouldn't necessarily expect from a leader. He gives you straight answers to straight questions. And I think in this world of personality politics, he comes to the fore with hope.
But what about his views on drugs and things like that? He said some outrageous things and done some outrageous things.
But this is actually the point. So the headline might be shocking, but when we actually dig into something about what he's talking about, whether it's legalisation or decriminalisation of drugs, we have to look at the stats, we have to look at the case studies, we have to look at the examples like Portugal, and that's what he's doing. It's not airy-fairy kind of woke ideas. This is a man, in my opinion, who's an academic. He's articulate, and I actually happen to...
Very frightening views on drugs, which I've heard about. And what about his hypnotism? I mean...
But that's a classic reform response because it's distraction. The hypnotism...
It's not. It's what he did. It's not distraction, it's fact.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to defend it because he's defended it himself, and I think it's sort of for the birds, really. But the idea of this hypnotist story about making women's parts larger, etc., fine. But
it's not fine at all. It's very strange, and I don't think we can have him as any credibility as a leader of this country. But that doesn't
undermine his credibility, A. And B, I'd rather strange than dark, and that's what I would regard some of the policies of reform.
Let's go back to the calls then. Mike, thank you very much for your call. Michael from Portsmouth, what's your view?
My view is that there will be no new general election.
Okay.
I think the Labour Party... Sorry?
No, carry on, Michael. I'm listening.
I think the Labour Party will soon have an election for Prime Minister. There'll be a couple of cabinet ministers who will probably resign as cabinet ministers and then challenge him for the election. And he will be thrown out because he just simply hasn't the capacity to be Prime Minister. If you doubt that, just have a look at the way he does Prime Minister's questions. He reads every answer to the question because he knows in advance because Labour Party people submit those questions and then the answer is written for him. He does not think like a politician. Yes, they have tremendous debt that has been stored up by the previous government to the sum when they took over of £2.7 trillion. That's £2,700 billion worth of debt that costs about £100 billion every single year before they buy a postage stamp. And that makes it, very hard. But I'm afraid this guy has not got the capacity.
Okay, quick question though for you, Michael. If there is a change in leadership for the government, doesn't that mean there has to be a general election? Because we've seen the outcry from the general public when the Conservatives done it a few times that we didn't vote in a different leader. We voted in Keir Starmer. What would you say to that?
No, I don't think there's a necessity to have another general election.
All right, Michael, thank you very much for your call. Brendan from Cambridgeshire, what's your view on a general election?
It needs to happen yesterday, Storm. I'm an Irishman in this country, 39 years, and I love this great country, and I've been a publican for a long time. I've spoken to Jeremy Ryan a couple of times, occasion as well. As a publican, you see people come into your pub, and I would say 99.9% of people in my pub are all going towards Nigel Farage, including myself. I was a Tory for a long time. And I want to say well done to that lady beside you. She's absolutely bang on the money because people are sick and tired.
Brendan, what is it about reform that's attracting you?
Well, first of all, we've got to stop the boat storm. The money
and how is Nigel Farage going to do that?
Well, how is he going to do it? he's going to get the Navy to stop it. That's what he's going to do, because we have a Prime Minister here that has simply as low as a snake. He's got no backbone. Our country's destroyed. And you just mentioned something there earlier on, the gentleman on your panel there,
Radzi.
about Jack Polatsky, Bradley, sorry, I forgot his name.
Polatsky.
Yeah, sorry, I do apologise. I couldn't I couldn't pronounce his second name. To vote the Green Party, I mean, I'd rather vote Labour than vote them, because that man, after saying what he could do to ladies and things like that by hypnotism, the country, there is no solid leaders out there. The only one out there that speaks the truth is Nigel Farage, and we want it. Everyone in my pub, all businessmen, hard-working boys, they're all going down that way, and that's just one pub in Norfolk. And that's the way we're all talking.
Brendan, I don't think you're wrong. I think all the polls suggest that if there was a general election tomorrow, that it would be a reform government.
And I think Brendan's saying a lot of what people are feeling out there, because it doesn't feel like Keir Starmer is listening to the people. He looks like a scared rabbit with a hernia. He really does.
I totally agree. This is the fundamental problem, that we don't have a presidential system, so we're not voting for the individual, we're voting for the party. And people who voted Labour, I actually think this has been a really clever strategic move by the people that have threatened to do this, because I don't think the people, let's just, for example, say it's Wes Streeting. I don't necessarily think that he wants to try and be PM. I actually think they want to move the party to the left, because at the moment it's look at reform, wait to see what they do and do a rubbish version of it. That's not the true Labour Party. And if the Labour Party returns to the left, we'll get the Northern Wall back and will actually be a party that people want to get behind.
All right, Brendan, thank you very much for your call. Robert from Glasgow, what's your thoughts on a general election?
Right, basically, a morning storm, first of all. Basically, I feel there should be a general election because of Keir Starmer. We can only describe as ridiculous and unworkable ID card scheme that's going to be. Okay. Well, he's going to try and bring it in. Personally, I don't think it'll happen, and I hope it doesn't, because it'll be the worst thing that ever happens. Recently, anyway.
Why do you feel that, Robert?
Sorry?
Why do you feel that way about the ID cards?
Well, I think it's just going to be, there'll be so much non-compliance, there'll be so much folk that possibly won't know what they're doing, or maybe do things and feel they're getting somewhere and they're not actually doing it properly. There'll be so many things.
Okay.
But really, what I would say is there's only one guy. It always makes sense to me, and he'll probably not be PM because of lack of votes, but he's always been the easiest, the best guy on the ball forever, and that's Ed Davey. He talks sense. You look at him in Parliament yesterday.
Ed Davey. I thought you just said Ed Davey. I was like, who is
no.
David Crockett.
That's a
But Robert, Ed Davey, do you not think he thinks that the under-sevens have to vote? Because he's always like on a boat or down a slide in a wetsuit, banging a drum. I mean, can you really take him seriously?
Yeah, but that's part of his appeal. You look at him even yesterday in Parliament. He stood up to Trump at the BBC situation. He says, we're not going to allow Trump to bully institutions like the BBC. He wants negotiations with Europe over several things. He's willing to negotiate. He always sounds to me fair. But
Robert, he had a chance to talk to Trump. He had a chance to talk to Trump when he came over, and he bottled it. He didn't go because he wanted to put his foot down.
Did he bottle it, or did he make a stance?
He was trying to make a stance, as if it's Trump's going to really miss Ed Davey.
Robert, according to the polls, I don't know how likely that would be. I think the Lib Dems kind of lost the attention.
Likely, but I'm just saying, I think he's easiest one of the best politicians to lead this country. And as for Farage, well, let's not go there. But
well, we already have, Robert, and I think we will be for quite a long time. He is quite a popular man at the moment. Robert, thank you very much for your call. Susan from Lancashire, what's your thoughts?
No, I don't think we should have a general election. They haven't been in long enough. I didn't vote Labour, but if you start changing governments again after, 14 or whatever months, it destabilises the markets and everything else. And God forbid that we get Nigel Farage, because we'll end up as the 51st state of America. And you better start looking at the health service, because it won't, in my opinion, it won't carry on being free at the point of use.
What do you think to that, Lizzie?
No, Nigel's going to reform it. There's a lot of wasted money that goes into the NHS, all the mismanagement. They need to sort that out. I'm afraid that is the truth of it. And people don't like to say it, that, you know, they use the NHS as a political football. But the fact is there's a lot of wasted money going into the NHS.
2 quick points. I can't wait for the time that media actually takes a microscope to what Farage is talking about, not just broad strokes, but actual specificity. But the second thing is, the big question is going to be, a lot of people love Farage, a lot of people hate Farage. Which is it going to be? It's not going to be one in the middle, it's going to be the extremes. It's very binary with him.
Well, everyone hates Keir Starmer at the minute, and it's a real worry, and he's toast.
Wrap up here. Thank you, Susan. Thank you for all your calls.